You wake up, and for about 4 seconds, you're somewhere else entirely. There was a hallway, or an ocean, or your childhood house, except the kitchen was somehow also a bus. It felt important, vivid, almost cinematic. And then you reach for your phone, and by the time the screen lights up, it's gone. Not faded, gone. Like someone reached into your skull overnight and deleted a folder labeled last night. Here's the genuinely strange part. You didn't just forget a memory. You experienced something your brain apparently decided wasn't worth keeping at all, even though while it was happening, it felt more real than most of your actual day. So why does your brain build an entire alternate reality every single night, only to erase it almost immediately? The answer involves brain chemistry doing something genuinely bizarre, a sleep stage that basically shuts off your memory recorder, and a debate among scientists about whether dreams even have a purpose, or whether they're just biological noise your brain is desperately trying to make sense of. Let's start with what's actually happening while you dream. Most vivid dreaming occurs during REM sleep, rapid eye movement sleep, a stage your brain cycles through several times a night. During REM, your brain is remarkably active, almost as active as when you're awake. Areas responsible for emotion, imagery, and sensation are firing constantly. But here's where it gets weird. One brain region goes strangely quiet during this exact window. The prefrontal cortex, specifically the part responsible for logical reasoning, self-awareness, and crucially, encoding new memories into long-term storage, dramatically reduces its activity during REM sleep. In other words, you're generating an incredibly vivid experience using the parts of your brain responsible for emotion and imagination, while the part of your brain responsible for filing that experience away for later is basically offline. Think about what that means. It's not that your dreams are too weird or too fast to remember. It's that your brain, during the exact moment you're experiencing them, has partially disabled the system that would normally save them. You're not forgetting your dreams the way you forget where you left your keys. You're failing to record them in the first place. There's a big difference between erasing a file and never actually writing it to the hard drive to begin with. But here's a detail that makes this even stranger. Levels of a specific neurotransmitter called norepinephrine drop dramatically during REM sleep. Norepinephrine plays a critical role in attention and memory consolidation while you're awake. It's part of what helps tag an experience as important enough to remember. During REM, with norepinephrine suppressed, your brain essentially has the save function switched off, even while it's running an entire simulated experience at full detail. Which raises a genuinely wild question. If nobody's brain saved last night's dream, does that mean somewhere between 1 and 5 dreams happen every single night that you will never ever know you had? Now, you might be thinking, wait, sometimes I do remember dreams, especially right when I wake up. And that's true, and it's not a coincidence. Dream recall is dramatically higher if you wake up directly out of REM sleep, rather than transitioning normally into deeper stages. If your alarm, or a noise, or your cat deciding now is the moment, yanks you awake mid-REM, your prefrontal cortex snaps back online quickly enough to grab a few fragments before they dissolve. That's why dreams you remember often feel disjointed and cut off mid-scene. You're not remembering the whole experience. You're catching the last few seconds of it as your brain's recording function flickers back on. So why doesn't evolution just fix this? Why build an elaborate nightly hallucination system and then sabotage its own memory of it? This is where scientists genuinely disagree. One leading theory suggests dreaming isn't about the content at all. It might be a side effect of your brain processing and consolidating memories from the day, essentially running maintenance in the background. And the wild imagery is just noise generated by that process, never meant to be remembered because it was never the point. Another theory suggests dreams might function as emotional rehearsal, low-stakes simulations letting your brain practice threat response and complex social situations without needing you to consciously remember every session, the same way you don't need to remember every rep at the gym for the workout to still build muscle. Either way, every single night your brain writes, directs, and stars you in an entire unrepeatable production, complete with impossible physics and people from 3 different decades of your life standing in the same room, and then quietly shreds the footage before you're even fully awake. You didn't lose those dreams. Your brain was never trying to keep them in the first place. So next time you wake up chasing the last fading scrap of something that felt enormous seconds ago, know this: you didn't forget anything. You just briefly built and destroyed an entire world, exactly like you do almost every single night of your life.